So by the end of 2022, one of the biggest names in the fitness industry and just the social media world was probably the Liver King. The Liver King, if you're somehow unaware, is a fitness influencer who rose to fame mainly on TikTok, where he has 4.9 million followers, and also has a YouTube channel with 285k subscribers. His whole shtick is that he lives a primal lifestyle, living like our ancestors, he likes to call it, where he just mainly eats a bunch of strange foods and raw meats. This man has seen more testicles than Dr. Jessen from Embarrassing Bodies, just endlessly chomping down on any types of exotic meats he can get his hands on, whilst preaching that it's all ancestral living. But unfortunately, at the beginning of this year, his fame started to slip away before his eyes, when a video was posted by a channel called More Plates, More Dates, in which he exposed the Liver King and his whole online presence as a big lie. He would lead his followers to believe that if they would buy his supplements and live like him too, they could also look like him. And of course, people fell for it. I mean, look at him. He looks like he's been chiselled from the rocks of Gibraltar. This guy's veins are literally bulging out of his skin. It honestly looks like they're pumping straight adamantium throughout his body, preaching that if you follow his ancestral lifestyle, that you too could look like a real version of Bane. But really, it was all a lie. This guy was actually exposed for just being insanely juiced and was on a crazy amount of performance enhancers, which he eventually did come out and confess his sins. He was on steroids, PEDs. But anyway, I'm not here to get too deep into the history of the Liver King. I'm here to talk more about what he's been up to recently. This video that we're going to be looking at has been floating around Twitter for the past couple of days, and it's one of his fairly recent ones, so hopefully we get a bit more of an insight on what he's up to.
In the modern world, we like to have our bowl of cereal, don't we? This is a primal version of your bowl of cereal. I got my testicles in farm fresh milk from Liver King Ranch. And
of course, he's still doing the same old shtick that he was up to before he was exposed, but somehow now looking like he's aged 15 years in the past 8 months. This guy looks as if he's a couple liver sandwiches away from just combusting. I've also never seen someone with such a bright red tone of skin. Something I also find funny in this video is how he refers to it as primal living, when in reality it's the furthest thing from it. This is coming from a guy who would say if you don't hunt it, don't eat it, when all of his meals are specially prepared for him by his personal chefs and his team. This guy's actual lifestyle doesn't even come close to primal. It's just the result of being super privileged.
The most feared warriors, the Maasai, what they get down on is milk, meat, and blood. And they are expressed in a higher, more dominant form. If you still want your primal cereal to taste like Cocoa Pebbles at the end, put a little bit of whole piece in.
And even throwing in a shameless self-promotion there when he adds his own branded chocolate powder, which will most definitely not make this primal cereal any better. I mean, especially as he can't be bothered to mix the powder in. He's just eating raw meat covered in milk and chocolate powder. The fact that he calls this a primal cereal is just a joke in itself. It literally has nothing to do with cereal other than there being milk in a bowl. That's the one similarity. And although his physique hasn't really changed all that much, it's definitely obvious that he's upped his game on the PEDs. His muscles don't even look like muscles anymore. It looks like he has boulders underneath his skin.
With your testicles, make sure you peel back the membrane on the testicle. You can use a spoon if you want, but God gave you the hands for a reason.
And it's actually quite sad to see. This guy is essentially trapped just doing this from now on. His muscles have been put through so much steroid use that they've probably become self-aware at this point and are starting to take over his mind and body. He has to consistently try and up his game in every video to try and stay relevant and to keep his audience buying his products and to follow in his footsteps on your path to be just like the Liver King. And if unfortunately you are one of them brain dead numbskulls that do follow this guy and believe what he says, then I'm afraid I have some very unfortunate news. It will never happen. Unless you're pumping the same amount of steroids and PEDs as this guy is, there is no way in hell that you will ever look like this. It's just not naturally achievable. And really the whole primal lifestyle is just a marketing play, and it always has been. He's always promoting his bars, powders, supplements, which compared to the other ones in the same market are absolute trash. And again, if you do follow the Liver King and believe in his primal way of living, then all I can say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have been fooled into believing this guy and his lies, and hopefully you can give yourself a good look in the mirror and realise what a mistake you've made by following this absolute fraud. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about this whole Liver King update, and if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.